I think I've noticed something that a lot of other people have noticed, which is these people who are dedicated and sold to the red pill, this ideology, this way of looking at the world. The people who are more invested in it tend to be more alone. But the reason for this, it took me a while to realize exactly why this is the case. And I think I've narrowed down 2 reasons why. The first reason is a lot of the guys are told they should have as many sexual encounters as they can with women. They brag about how many women they sleep with. They talk about how doing it gives you so much confidence. If you sleep with one woman, it makes it easier to sleep with another and another and another, and you can just bed hop the entire time. But the problem with this is not only is it hypocritical because they expect women to be pure for them, but they're allowed to sleep around as much as they want. The problem is you're making it very hard for young men to get into relationships because you're prioritizing and aiming for short-term relationships where you just sleep with them and you move on. Believe it or not, it's much harder to do that because if you're sleeping around, people have much higher standards for the people they're with. For a woman, you have to be much more attractive, much more charming, much more experienced to do that with them. They're not just going to sleep with some random weird guy. But in a long-term relationship, they overlook so many more things about you as a person. A woman will tell herself, you know, he is a bit short, he is not really that attractive, he doesn't even make that much money, he's a bit shy, and sometimes he's a little awkward. But I love him, I care about him, I know him, we have a connection, and something could come out of this. And he actually cares about me, and I actually care about him. It's much easier to get into that type of relationship than to simply sleep around. Again, we're not talking about how this is even right or wrong, we're just talking about logistics here. And if you're a young guy who's isolated and alone, you're taking in all this red pill ideology, you're going to be set back because generally you're more alone, you're more isolated. That's probably why you're watching these people to begin with. You're kind of awkward, you don't know how to talk to women, you're trying to get answers, and this is how you stumble upon them. These people claim they have the answers on how to get you laid, how to get women, how to get into relationships, and you don't know any better, so you just buy into what they say. So not only is sleeping around with women in short-term relationships, just bed hopping, much more challenging to do than get into a long-term relationship, but it's being told specifically to guys who struggle a lot with women. Of course, you're setting yourself up to be alone. And a second reason is they're somewhat disconnected from reality, especially these guys who consume this type of media. They don't interact with people as much in real life. They're constantly online, they're swiping through Tinder. And Tinder, believe it or not, is not real. The people on there are not real. Women in real life, their standards aren't that high. Men in real life, the first things they say aren't sexual to a woman. Yet that's all you see on Tinder. The women have very high demands on a guy because they feel as if they have an unlimited supply of men, but for some reason all of those men, all they ever want to do is sleep around. The first couple of messages are always sexual. It gives them the absolute ick. And the reason for this is because nobody on there is real. And what's interesting is if you go out in real life, you see these people who are in relationships you want to be in. Talk to the guy, talk to the girl, ask them about themselves, ask them, hey, how did you guys meet? Well, turns out it's not like what the red pillers say, which is going on Tinder or approaching women in the mall and asking them for their numbers. No, it's like, oh, it just kind of happened. Hey, we met each other in school. Hey, we met each other at this group. We met each other at this church. It just so happened to be that they were physically close in the same group. They just accidentally met each other. It just happened. And you look at these guys, they're with extremely sweet women, very attractive, cute women. And what are they like? They're commonly not the extremely physically attractive, tall Chad with six-pack abs. No, it's actually kind of rare that they are. Which this should be a red flag for anybody who really digs into the red pill. It's like, okay, answer that question. Why would a very attractive, very sweet woman be in a relationship with a guy who's fat, who's ugly, who's not charismatic, who's awkward, and not ambitious? Everything that these red pillars say women don't want, yet they're in a relationship with them. It shows and highlights a fundamental flaw with this ideology, with this outlook on life. And one of them is just become friends with people, friends with women, friendly to everybody, and things will happen, even when you're not trying or looking for anything. You don't need to have sex with tons of women to become confident. Just have more successful interactions with people in general. You don't need to have sex with a woman to desensitize yourself to their beauty, to not choke up and be awkward around them. Just have conversations with them, kind of go outside. But the problem again is these guys who really consume this type of media, they're chronically online. They're isolated and they're being manipulated by these red pillars. Now, there is truth to a lot of the red pill. I'm not against people working out, becoming more charismatic. Many of these things are just basic self-improvement advice. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's great. Hey, go work out. Become less awkward. I give you 2 thumbs up for that. But don't isolate yourself like that. Don't cut yourself away from people. Cut yourself away from women and buy into this ideology that keeps you alone. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know what you think. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out some of my other videos. I think you'd like them. Anyways, take care.